So, Matt, what are your thoughts?
So I don't think I'm fully caught up on season four,
Bruh.
but just the boys in general. I love how blunt it is
Yeah.
because there really aren't TV shows like that anymore. It's kind of like Sons of Anarchy, like shit that really makes you go like, ooh, fuck. Like when Homelander got that crispy hand job, just got him. I'm really into myself, and you're just sitting there. You're like, oh, Homelander, you dog. Yes, you are into yourself, and this is so you. Just like not shocking to the viewer, but you're just so used to. You're like, oh no, this is Homelander. But out of context, if somebody would walk by and see that scene without knowing the show, they'd be like, what the actual fuck are you watching? And that's what I love about it. I also liked when they went to the theme park. I don't know if you picked up on it, but I think it was a subtle jab at Disney because everywhere you look, there was like, I think it was like LGBTQ corn dogs. Every single stand was like some variation of pride. And I think it was kind of a jab at Disney where it's like, that's their creativity at this point, where Amazon's coming out with this fucking masterpiece that really like gets you into it and intrigued. Just, the names on those stands had me dying. I had to rewind and be like, wait, this is sneaky.
Guys, have you heard? Nelson, tell the people.
Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons.
Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
But what about at you, Alex? What are your thoughts since you've seen season four?
Well, my thoughts about season 4, I think it was really well done. Very political. We get to see this new character, Firecracker, join the Bot 7. It's a lot of alliance switching. A-Train switches over to the boys officially. One of the best episodes was the Tech Knight episode where we get to see, everybody, Homelander, Sage, and the masterminds. Newman was there as well, the vice president elect. And they're just trying to like come up with like this new world order for the country. And you have the boys sneaking in while also Huey is being tortured and pretty much molested with this like gimp suit on that he stole from another superhero. And it was just here, there. It was like super bipolar, and not just the content, but like the overall atmosphere. It's just so much going on. I think this season definitely is up there for sure. It has not stopped. It's been a bullet train of just content. As you said too, like there's a lot of scenes, especially that episode, where like if you have a person just walk by your TV, or like if you're just at the gym, you're watching it, and people look over and they're seeing this like dude.
What kind of porn is this guy
Dude,
watching?
exactly. And I'm like, I swear to God, this is an Amazon show. It has commercials. And everybody acted really well. Butcher's situation is growing very severe. His condition is worsening and worsening, with the fact that he can't even control what's inside of him. And towards the end, you see a crazy, crazy scene that I think will surprise a lot of viewers. I don't want to spoil anything, but it really, really makes you want more, and I think they left it at a really good cliffhanger, especially with the fact that how Sage and Homelander built everything up from the first episode and now unleashing it into the world. Sage is a really good character too. I'm honestly surprised that we didn't get her before season 4. Yeah, like this great great season. I loved every bit of it. Gave me kind of a little bit of anxiety at times too. I had to stop watching it because like the fight scenes are just so gruesome, and
You're just sitting
and
there and you're like, ah.
yeah. Yeah, dude. And I'm just like, damn. And what happens with Ryan too, Butcher's stepson or Homelander's son? Crazy stuff. I love what he's becoming and what they're trying to do to him too. They're trying to. The first Homelander tried to make him into himself and an image of himself and try to replace, Ryan, to replace Homelander at some point, and teaching him how to be a superhero and all this and that, and acting with the with the
Sort of way.
yeah, right. And with this fatal accident that happened with one of their actors, it kind of triggers Ryan to be like, this isn't really for me. And there's another episode, a Christmas episode, where they're giving this message. It's all political, and it's a very political, very like, Starlight left wing, Homelander right wing, and Firecracker just ignites it. No pun intended, but ignites this like fury. And good season, a lot of character growth. Takes over as leader for a bit. A lot of good stuff. I loved it. If I were to rate this for as a season, I would say I'd give it a 9 out of 10. nearly perfect. There was some stuff that was wrong. I just didn't like how some characters were kind of thrown off, or I also didn't like the ending. I thought the ending could have been a little bit more powerful, especially with Homelander and Ryan. I thought that Ryan was kind of weak. He was just a weak character, and that arc was just a little. I don't know. I wanted to skip it through like really badly. I wanted to skip it. Firecracker was also really cringe. Like that stuff was just really cringy, and they're overacting, but it's just the overactingness of it. It just kind of makes me grossed out because I see this in real life, but it's just taken to a whole nother level, and I'm like, damn, like they're definitely making fun of this, but I just don't want to
In a sense of
constantly
like the
hear this.
superhero kind of ish.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
it throws it down, but those are just like minute details that I just didn't like. Everything else near perfect. Yeah, those are my thoughts. We're just gonna continue on with the discussion.
If you're into sports, wrestling, or just need some positivity and motivation, check out N1 from the End Zone and click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
What do you like about the show? Like what drew you to the show?
I like that. I like that it plays both sides of politics instead of kind of just like only centering over one, and it's very, very obvious. It kind of plays both sides, and you can kind of be like, oh, as a conservative, that's funny. Oh, as a liberal, that's funny, because it makes fun of both sides, which you don't really get too often anymore, unless you're listening to like fringe comedy, which like Dave Chappelle, he's good at it, playing both sides, making fun of everybody. And I think that's what this show does very, very well. It's like also to a very, very blunt extent, like I was saying before.
I agree. I think that the politics make this really interesting. It definitely forces a lot of people to over portray themselves, and you kind of see it resemble today's political stance or political environment. What drew me to the show was the characters. I really liked them. I liked Huey. I like what they were going through, and just the world, really, like superheroes, but it's more real life, and they're actors, at first, but they're more political, and they have advertisements, they have deals, they have sponsors, and it's like, bro, what? Like, this is exactly what might happen in real life. And
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
it's very, very American,
it
violent
is.
American.
Yeah. And I just loved how the show progresses and the stories it takes, and even the character development too. Like the characters that are added, they add a lot of value. And the villains are really crazy. I think that especially the neo-Nazi villain, I forgot her name, but she was just incredible. Not
It's the
like,
hand job
you know,
lady.
she was just insane. I was just like, wow, they're really doing this. Like they have the balls to put this on, the what is this, the bronze screen or the silver screen, whatever.
She was a really good Nazi too. Like the way they wrote her script and the way she acted, it's like, oh wow. Like I feel like I'm watching like Inglorious Bastards without the comedy.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was just insane. Like I was just like, wow, she's a true villain. That is a villain.
That's
And
a fucking Nazi.
yeah, yeah, and but other than that, that's what really drew me to the show. Just the writing, the characters, everything about it. Where do you think they're gonna go after this? Like, I don't think you finished the show, but if you want something out of this show, like, what do you want more of?
I don't know where they're gonna go with it because I feel like they might tone down on the political aspects a little bit after what happened. And even after, like you said, they came out and they're like, we filmed this like a year ago. It has nothing to do with that, but they might have to tone it down a little bit in that aspect and deviate because I don't think anybody wants to be fanning anything right now.
Right, yeah, they literally showed that like a couple days after what happened with former President Trump, and it's just it's good that they had the message, because a lot of people will connect the dots and say, oh,
Yeah.
this and that, but they really wanted to make sure, like, hey, this was filmed like a year, half a year ago, and no correlation. We just want to make sure that this is out there, and it was really added. It looks like it was added like a day or two ago because it's different coloring, kind of fades in
Yeah.
awkwardly, and yeah,
I feel like they must have thought that was necessary because they do kind of it's not directly shaped around like America, but it's kind of a caricature of what America is and what's going on right now.
what I think they're gonna, I hope they do next. I didn't read the comics, but what I hope they do next is in this season they talk about indoctrination and superheroes kind of policing everything, and it really reminds me of Injustice from DC, how Superman and the Injustice League, they kind of take over and become the supreme power over Earth. And I really want them to kind of take that step because we were robbed of Injustice from Zack Snyder's DC universe. I just hope they do something like that because it's really interesting. The direction that they can take with this is just infinite with that direction, and there's so much potential, really, because there's different superheroes that don't align with Homelander, but a lot of them do, and you kind of see it's almost like X-Men: The Last Stand, where a lot of them are standing up for this and want like reform and power, but then also with Injustice, that type of storytelling, it's interesting because you have this super powerful superhero, right? This being who is now in control of everything, and how are we going to stop him by using this machina type object of it's a serum, or it's a special bullet, So I think that is what they're going to do next. It looks like it from how it ended, but yeah, they can go a lot of ways.
Another thing that I really loved is how they showed the PR and how PR works in general.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a jab at like Hollywood and the elites. It's like, okay, you guys are like really horrible people on the inside, but you just have really good PR teams. Oh, I just hit somebody with a car, but look at me at this rescue with the puppies. I'm a good person, I promise.
Oh yeah, no, that's what's crazy. It's like man, like
it's very much like South Park. The subtle jabs here and there. If you look closely enough, it's fucking funny.
That with Hollywood, and then this with the politics, it's and with corporate stuff too. There's a lot of corporate and like government stuff that they do. Yeah, that's just it's just a parody. It's a serious parody, and it kind of reminds me of Saints Row, but without comedy and superhero. Like it's just over the top. What'll happen if superheroes were a real thing? They're gonna be actors. They're gonna be celebrities. They have deals, sponsorships, and all that shit. So, yeah, this is a good show. I recommend it to all. Again, 9 out of 10 for me. Matt, if you want to give it a rating, you can. I do a 9. I do a 1 out of 10. 1 being absolute ass, 10 being perfect. And with each iteration, like a 5 out of 10 is an average movie. It's not bad. It's an average movie, or like a 4 out of 10 is slightly below average. So
like 8.5.
8.5. Okay, that's good. That's a good rating. I can agree. There's some parts of it that are just kind of wacky, and I just don't like. But it is what it is, and it's a good show. I hope they continue it, and there's a lot of things that they can move forward with if they choose to.
That's why I say 8.5, because it's a really fucking amazing show, but I feel like they're gonna do better next season.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that was our discussion on The Boys. Now, stay tuned for what to watch.
Yeah, I already know we finna tear this shit up. Let's go.
Got this beat from Jimmy.
Hit that bitch, then I'm on to the next. Love Power X. You can turn the heat up and it never ever crack. I just put a Swiss on hold, that's protect. 18 carats, so I match my neck. Before I throw a stat, let the